Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. I, of course, am your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the prolific cover himself, Zealeus.
Yo, so your voice seems a little bit scratchy. It doesn't have its full vigor as I'm used to on a Thursday night of enthusiasm and roaring.
I don't know what happened.
Well, I don't know, man. Were you yelling someplace last night that caused you to strain your vocal cords in a way not customary for Thursday nights?
Could be.
Could be.
Could very well be.
It happens.
Yes, indeed it does. All right. So, what Zealeus is alluding to is that Zealeus and I went to the Atlanta Hawks game last night. We watched the Hawks beat the Wizards thanks to a literally last-second shot by Al Horford. So,
it was only a putback shot. He just tore the ball from the Wizards' mofo.
And then put it back. Anyways, okay,
It was glorious.
Yes, absolutely. All right, let's talk some video games, shall we? The first bit of news, of course, is the that there has been a let's just say the individual behind Castlevania Symphony of the Night, an individual that goes by the name of Koji Igarashi, has decided to make his own game. And apparently, you know, a bunch of different publishers are like, nah, no one wants to play that type of game anymore. And of course, so he started a KickStarter project. The game is, of course, called Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, which to me lacks some creativity because you have Castlevania Symphony of the Night and now you got Bloodstained.
But it's so dark and brooding, man.
Right.
It's like something out of Vampire Diaries. I'm not sure that it's anything going for it in that regard.
Anyways, so the so of course, you know, it's a Kickstarter project. It's already raised over $1 million. In the very short amount of time it's been up there.
The video made me laugh a lot. He's basically the reincarnation of Dracula, it turns out, in case you were not aware.
The creator, not the game.
No, the creator is Dracula. It's kind of entertaining. It's so over the top that it's like, this is great entertainment.
Are you sure it's Dracula and not Alucard?
Thanks, jackass.
Okay,
for us common folk who don't know the lore of everything out there, to us it's Dracula. How's that?
You know who Alucard is, right?
No idea.
What's Alucard spelled backwards?
Dracula.
That's right.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Apparently,
ding, ding, ding. Okay,
the light bulb gets dimmer.
So basically, it's a Castlevania-esque game. I mean, it's literally Castlevania without it being called Castlevania. From the sketches they've shown, it looks like you have at least 3 main characters. There's going to be a co-op mode. There's going to be a versus mode, and then of course single player. It's a 2D side-scrolling game where there's some RPG elements to it, where you're going to be, you know, leveling up your character, leveling up the equipment, items, weapons, whatever, and then of course killing lots of
monsters.
monsters.
Thing is he's like, publishers don't want to publish this genre, which maybe that's true because they're bringing the big bucks, but I think it's been shown, chiefly through other Kickstarter games, that this genre is still kicking. I mean, people are still buying these side-scrolling type of games.
Right, but the thing is that the only way that they get made is through crowdsourcing. No studio is going to say, "Oh wow, look at the indie sector. There's definitely a market for it."
But what happened? I mean, obviously, AAA publishers used to make, you know, the Castlevanias and the other side-scrolling, you know, type of games.
Right.
So what happened? Where, you know, indie type of game or not, oops, almost knocked my glasses off, that they no longer want to actually publish these type of games anymore. What happened?
Well, to be honest with you, one of the main reasons is that it's single player centric. The unfortunate fact is that publishers out there, they want a game. Sure, it can have single player aspects to it. But what they're really looking for, I'm not saying that it's because they're cheapos, but they're cheapos, is they want a solid multiplayer piece.
Yep.
Because what they really want to do is they want to be able to push a game out as quickly as possible that appears polished, and then they can throw maps on afterwards, and then they can reckon the money. With a single player game or, like a game like Bloodstained, It's more geared towards this is the product and maybe DLC down the line, but it's not a sure thing. It could be just the game.
So instead you have the constant money stream, you feel more assured from a multiplayer game that there's going to be a constant revenue stream.
Absolutely.
Whereas you buy this game once, you're done.
Well, the other thing is with a multiplayer game, if you have a single player like adventure, there are a lot of pieces that could potentially break. With a multiplayer thing, you basically just have a system and you literally build in a couple maps, and then you can kind of like sneak in refinements to those maps.
Mm-hmm.
And people aren't going to notice that, the rock in Sector 5 of this map is no longer bouncy. They might notice it, but it's not going to break the gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, people will, if it's a single player adventure or single player experience at all, people are going to harp on that one broken thing because there's no real advantage to it because it's not a competitive atmosphere. Mm-hmm. So let's see here. They have, for all of y'all out there who are interested in joining or jumping onto the Bloodstained bandwagon, you have 29 days to go. So they got their goal really quick. Like I said, they've already reached. Let's see, what's the $1.9 million.
Lord.
Yep.
The one thing I did find interesting too, it's almost even 25,000 backers. From watching the video, is one of the reasons they're doing the Kickstarter is they already had the angel investors in place.
Right.
So you going to kickstarting it is it's not obviously I'm not against it, but Kickstarter to me has always been one of those things where it's like but it's a little bit different to me when they already have some potential source of income coming in from a legitimate type of backer. So if you're kickstarting it, it's like, okay, that there's somebody else who has money who is backing this too, potentially. And it gives a little bit more credence to me in that regard.
Right. I mean, it's the same. My philosophy going into this is with any digital games that are coming out now, because I've been burned a couple times by games that still have not come out, and I'm going to cheat and kind of look over the computer and try to pull up some of the PC games that I'm actually still waiting on. But the fact of the matter is, if you want to have, first of all, you have to figure out a way to market your product. Just Kickstarter is now being flooded. Be it for better or for worse, Kickstarter is a very saturated platform now. There are a shit ton of games and ideas and concepts that are being constantly thrown on there. So if you want to get noticed, you have to find a way outside of Kickstarter to get your name out there. But as Zealeus was stating, you want to see a little extra to it. Gone are the days where you can literally just get away with, here's some concept art of a cool game that I know is going to be awesome if you back me.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, in order to get me to donate, I want to basically be able to, upon backing it, I want to have my hands on an alpha or a beta once the funding period is closed.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what the vision is right now, and I want to be able to truly understand where it's going to go next. Because that's another thing. A lot of people might have an amazing game, but they fail to truly show exactly how they're going to improve it. They're just like, oh yeah, we're going to upgrade the art. Well, what the fuck does that mean? We're talking backgrounds? We're talking a reskin of the entire thing? We're talking about just characters?
More pixels, man.
More pixels. More pixels. So so for me, it has to be. It's got to be something that absolutely 100% grabs me.
Right on.
I'm gonna have to cheat. I have to wear my glasses. No, I don't. I'll just
zoom in.
Zoom in the page.
Zoomplex.
All right. So let's see here. Nope. I need to find all my pledges because that's too soon. Hold on one second. Let me go all the way down. Okay, here we go. All the way down. Let's see here. Double Fine Adventures finally came out. It's finally complete. Both chapters are out there. I backed the original estimated. Okay, so let's see here. The original estimated date was August of 2012. It is now
May 2015.
So they missed it by
2.5 years.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let me just. Here's the Ouya that came out. Castle Story. Yeah, that game still isn't out, and I pledged for it August. The estimated delivery was August 2012.
I think they may have not
missed it.
Yeah,
No.
just a little.
Then of course you have Planetary Annihilation. Some people say that game is still not finished. It's buggy as hell. I've played it. I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on, so I stopped playing it.
But the next generation RTS, man.
Right. Project Eternity. That's Pillars of Eternity. They only missed it by a year.
Oh, okay. That's not too bad from what we've seen so far.
Yeah. Actually, hold on. I gotta click that. Okay. Shadowgate. Shadowgate definitely came out, but it was not as impressive. That's the other thing. I've been burned by a couple of Kickstarter projects that I thought were going to be amazing. One of the biggest ones that I got burned on was a art. It was not an art book. I mean, it was kind of like a comic book, a hardback comic book called Gumshoes for Hire. Wow, it was like 12 pages of comics and then concept art, and that was it. I'm like, and I paid. It didn't even get into the story of what's going on. I love backing board games, so I have a shit ton of board games on there as well. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is that, oh, there we go. There's another one. Delver's Drop. Estimated delivery date of November 2013 is still in beta. So if you are interested in doing a Kickstarter project for a digital game, I recommend that you either have I recommend that you either have 1 second. Hold on. Hey, I got your batteries.
Batteries.
Yeah. For your 360. David, keep talking.
All right, so I'm going to continue talking. Charlie is usually the rambler of the group. As we talk about Kickstarter, I still have not quite jumped onto the whole Kickstarter bandwagon, so to speak, because, well, I just don't quite fully embrace the idea. It's not because I'm necessarily against it. It just doesn't jive with me. It's like, why am I paying to contribute to a commercial product that may or may not exist in some actual fathomable form? At least when I buy a game for, $20, $30, $40, boom, it's existed. I know what it is. Versus putting $100 towards a Kickstarter thing, I don't get it. It just doesn't mesh with my way of buying stuff. But that's just me. I have nothing against Kickstarter, like I said. It just doesn't jive with the way I do business. That and I have elsewhere to spend my money. So that's just kind of, for me, Kickstarter just kind of goes by the wayside. While we're waiting, let's see what else, Charlie. Oh no, as I click on random stuff. What else was going on in the world of Ultra Confusion this week? Because I did not take the notes like a good Charlie Hawkins would recommend I would. Let's see here. Blah, 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 blah. Hi-Res Studio is holding a fundraiser for Nepal, which is pretty cool. So basically, they are offering a chest, relief chest for 400 gems, which obviously is in-game currency, of which they will donate $2 to the relief fund. So the funny thing about about that is, for 400 gems is $8. So basically, $8 you buy this chest, of which they donate $2. I know it probably makes me sound a bit like a Scrooge here, but $2 out of 8 for a digital product doesn't seem like a whole lot.
Well, let's be honest. It really depends on how much. The thing is, if you were to buy the gems in bulk, then it actually
brings down to $1 per gem.
Yeah. So instead of 25% of the profits, it goes all the way up to 40%, which isn't bad. I mean, look.
It's like the half relief chest.
Would we want to see them donate the entire thing? Absolutely. But the fact of the matter is, they want their, they want part of it, and they're going to donate a good chunk of it as well. And the other thing is, well, actually, you know what? You can also get gems just in game for being consistent online.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, but that would be free money. I mean that you wouldn't be paying anything, and they would be giving $2. So, so there's the potential for that as well. So you got to take that into consideration.
To me, it changes the dynamic when it's a virtual item versus a real item.
Right.
You're donating for a real item. I get that. You don't have the actual cost. Whereas me buying a skin literally cost high-res $0.
Right. Well, I mean, it's like, okay. So at the same time, another company is doing a donation drive, but all proceeds for these physical goods are going towards the relief fund. That, of course, is Bungie. Bungie has been amazing when it comes to these relief funds, putting money forth in I think they're all going through the Red Cross right now.
Okay. Pretty common one.
But we're talking, I think it's like $12 per T-shirt, or maybe it's more. I don't know. But I ordered 2, one for myself, one for my wife, the lovely Julie, and so we'll add that one to the collection. I think that will be my 3rd Bungie support shirt.
Right on.
So the fact of the matter is, it's at the end of the day. I as much as I hate to say this, any donation is a good donation. I mean, the other thing is, Bungie's basically going to keep doing it for a much longer time. The high-res one is actually a very small window. I think they're done in like 3 days.
That is pretty quick.
I think they basically open it up for 5 days and then they're done. Whereas Bungie, I think they're just basically going to do it until they hit a certain goal, and then they'll close it down.
Right on.
Yeah. But the thing is that the skins that Hi-Rez is putting up are those that you cannot purchase with gems.
So they're unique specials.
Yes, they're usually like event specials. Yep. So they basically just reopen it up. Personally, if I were, I mean, I really wish that I could choose which one I wanted. But to be honest with you, I want the Romerica one.
That's just funny sounding.
Romerica. Because I don't. Okay, I don't play Cupid. I've never played Hebo. Rama maybe. I don't even know how the hell to pronounce Zabalaku. I'll never play him. Ra. I play Ra, and then Ares I won't play.
You don't like to chain people, man?
Oh God, who was that? Was it Team Titan?
I don't remember anymore.
I think it was Team Titan, and they changed the fucking course of the championship because of that stupid Ares play.
It was pretty fantastic though to watch.
But anyways, so I mean, at the end of the day, any donation is a good donation. So in other news, wow, that is really
zoom. Good Lord.
Yeah, I really zoomed in. So okay, let's get into a terrible thing. We were talking about Kickstarter, and I apologize. I had to walk away. My dad was here. I had to give him his Xbox 360 batteries because he plays. My dad is a more hardcore gamer on the 360 than I ever was. I'm just going to fully admit it. He plays all the Halos he can get his hands on, all the Gears of War on the highest difficulty.
Nice.
I won't do that.
He likes to challenge himself.
Yes. I think that's insane. Actually, I think one of the highest difficulties is called insane.
That's kind of sadistic. Not masochistic.
Masochistic.
Thank you. I was getting there.
You were getting there. I was just trying to.
Give me another 5 minutes.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, I had to give him the 360 battery so he can actually continue to play because he's literally
wore him out.
Yeah, he wore him out. Anyways, okay, so
kind of like
going back to Kickstarter really quick. If you're gonna do a digital product, you need to definitely have some extra backing. If you don't have the extra backing, understand that it may be a good idea to put Project Greenlight in there at some point. What I would recommend you do though is I would kickstart first and then do Project Greenlight so you can supplement the funds just so you can have a little bit more wiggle room.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could go. I mean, if you get enough steam, you could try the Star Citizen route. I do not recommend that because that is a very dangerous thing. I know they got $75 million over however long they've basically been saying donate money to us. They've broken into 4 different studios. Each one is in charge of one aspect of the game, which I understand. You know, they're breaking off the modules so that you can have this uber awesomeness for like the galaxies and the alien races, and then another one is for the dogfights, and another one is just the perpetual MMO universe. But that sounds amazing, but it's there's the possibility that the game could be like here's where the game is, and this is one of the pieces, but this piece needs to go in the game.
Well, that's why I hope you have strong, project leads and somebody to work between the teams to make sure that there is some interlopidity, it's not a real word, between the different modules. Because I can see
Right.
that, you have this separated from that, and hopefully have somebody who can wrangle all the sheep together, be like, all right, make sure they work together. Because otherwise, you're right, they will just go off and do their own thing. You're like, dude, that's the best PvP module ever. It just breaks the rest of the game.
Well, I think that's probably the issue, though. Is that I don't think it's very clear how how they interact. And from my understanding, it sounds like you have all these separate studios doing their own modular thing. But in my mind, there should probably be like a main hub studio that everything just constantly gets filtered into.
Kind of like the core game. It's like the spoken wheel, sort of.
Well, it's like the foundation. I mean, it's literally, here's the foundation. Let's just, add stuff onto it. Let's grab that. Let's make sure this works, periodic checks. But I don't know. I mean, they could be doing that. It's not clear.
Well, part of it, too, is it's a revolutionary way of doing business.
Absolutely.
You didn't have these Kickstarters or green lights, 5 years ago. So all of a sudden, it's not like, okay, we get this $75 million. How do we not totally blow $75 million and still make an actual product that people are going to enjoy? Because you can have a budget of $75 million and still make a shit game.
Oh, yeah.
So we know that can happen. So still make a good game. And you can make a great game on $750,000. So it's not just about the money, obviously. So hopefully that money is going towards something useful.
Yeah.
And not just wishing dreams and smoke and mirrors.
Right. Okay. So to go back, I know this is like a very Kickstarter laden episode, but there's just a lot of stuff going on with Kickstarter. First off, unfortunately, gateways that deck building game that I was talking about that I had the chance of meeting one of the individuals that's part of. They have canceled their Kickstarter for now. To be honest with you, I think they have a phenomenal game, but their video and their just actual campaign that was put on Kickstarter was one of the. I mean, they threw it on Kickstarter, and I don't think it really got shown off of Kickstarter. To be honest with you, in a perfect world, what you would want to do is you would want to be able to have enough of a game for people to review. So you have those reviews on your Kickstarter campaign page so that you can supplement that with people have questions. You could say, oh, look, this guy from Ultra Confusion or IGN or Tabletop Games said this about the game, and this is a trusted source, and that would help. But okay, so unfortunately, gateways for now is but they are going to regroup and they're going to rebuild. One of the biggest issues I had with their Kickstarter video was it was informational, but I know that you want everyone that's on your team to be involved in the video, but not everyone is meant to have straight on camera time to talk. Because there was one individual there. He was basically really the programmer, strategist kind of guy. And this is how he gave his speech. He was like, "Hi, my name is John. I work on the game to make sure that the balancing is good. I love this game, and I think you'll love it too. It's really great." I'm like, there's no emotion. There's no fire. You look like...
Well, some people, they also get in front of the camera or people, and they just kind of...
Right. So, in my opinion, if I were to have directed this video, what I would have done is I would have had him in an action shot where he's actually playing the game and he's explaining it to someone, where he's more in his element, where the camera is secondary to what's happening. I think that would have had a more relaxed vibe for him, and it would have also shown how passionate he is about explaining the game.
Yeah.
Instead of just trying to explain it with just staring at the camera. So be on the lookout for that being relaunched. Okay, so there was this. This happens a lot on Kickstarter, and that is fraudulent donations. There are individuals who either hack an account or just, are complete asshats and decide to dick with people's dreams. And this happened very recently. There's a game called Dimension Drive.
Okay.
They were, when I checked, they were about 9 hours away from their deadline, and they were still about just over $7,000 short. With I think about 6 or 3 hours to go, a mysterious donor put in $7,000, which they got the email saying, "You have been successfully funded."
Yay!
And they're like,
"Woo!"
And so they get excited. They're tweeting out to everyone, and then now that the money has been reached, let's do something fun. Hey, let's see if we can get it up to 500 backers or whatever,
Yep.
and then we'll throw like a color palette change in there, something that wouldn't cost a lot of money, but would be kind of fun to celebrate. Making different little goals and milestones. 31 minutes before the deadline. They've been celebrating for hours now.
Yep.
31 minutes before the deadline, they receive an email that states that one of the donations that was made to their game was indeed fraudulent and has been removed from your grand total. And that was the $7,000 one. So
brutal.
In the end, they ended up, I think, like $6,250 short.
Yeah.
So
That sucks.
the fact of the matter is, it happens, and it's a very, and it really sucks. And, as much as I would love to say, well, if they had marketed it better, maybe, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I don't have the answer to how they could have done it better. It's just unfortunate, and I wish that people wouldn't be such asshats and dick around with people like that. I mean, of course, the proper terminology is trolling. But
that's pretty hardcore trolling right there. I mean,
come on.
That's totally messing with people right there. The ups and downs of thinking you made your life's goal for some of these people probably, and then have that completely dashed is pretty harsh.
Right. Look.
And that also could potentially change the complete outlook on how people would have kickstarted it.
Yeah.
I mean, for all you know, they saw that goal of $7,000. Other people may have donated real money to make that $7,000 because he saw, ooh, it's close, I might as well.
Right.
You just don't know that. But now that once it made its goal, people are like, oh, it doesn't need the money, it's fine.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So you have two different types of Kickstarterers. You have those who are like, it's my mission to help them get to their goal, and then there's those who are like, oh, this one's actually going to make its goal. I guess I'll donate now. The unfortunate thing is the fortunate thing for those of you out there who are doing Kickstarter projects is there's more people that are willing to try to get you to that goal than those that are like bandwagoners. Like, oh wow, this is successful. Well, I'll throw my money there. Now, of course, yes, when we're talking about like Double Fine and stuff, that was just like a race to see who could donate fast enough to see if they're the ones who took it over the hump, because they ended up with $3.5 million instead of the $400,000 that they had originally asked for. Actually, how much did that other game go for? I mean, what were they aiming for? I'm trying to remember.
That's been a long time, I don't remember.
let's see, Bloodstained. Bloodstained was $500,000. Wow, it was a very ambitious goal.
And they're already at $2 million.
And they're just like a shade under $2 million.
I think they'll make their goal.
Yeah.
I don't think they have that many fraudulent claims.
No. So in that case, it's one of those situations where, at the end of the day, a fraudulent charge here or there is not going to make or break the game. The unfortunate thing, well, the thing is, he has star power on that project.
It makes a big difference.
Yeah,
Free
absolutely.
advertising.
Absolutely.
Because then you get on the front page of other gaming websites, people hear about it, they're like, dude, Castlevania's coming back, just with a different name.
Well, it's like the guy that did, that was like basically the mastermind behind Mega Man, and he came out with a...
Dr. Wily?
No. Dr. Wily did not create Mega Man. That is Dr. Light, son.
Sorry,
Dr.
man.
Light. There always be light. Put him in reference there. But we're seeing them in MomoCon.
Hell yeah!
Speaking of MomoCon, I got a couple comments about that in a second. But the mastermind behind Mega Man, who's no longer with Capcom, decided to make his own game. I think it's called like Super 9 or something. And of course that one,
Or like when Kojima finally decides to kickstart something after leaving Konami.
Okay, so
if he does a Kickstarter, that's...
So Kojima, the rumor is, okay, first of all, Silent Hill PT, of course, has been canceled. That was going to be Kojima working with Del Toro, working with
the Dream Team.
Norman Reedus as the main character. It was going to be mind-blowing, amazing. That having been canceled, the rumor is that Kojima is actually going to make a PT-esque game on his own and rope those two back in.
Interesting.
But of course, that's just rumor and speculation and whatever.
Can you imagine how much Kickstarter that would bring in if you get all those on one Kickstarter project?
Oh, Jesus, that would break Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that'd freaking break it. I mean, it's like this was a Kickstarter. It was basically another crowdfunding service. But when the announcement for Super Troopers 2 came out and said, "Hey, if the audience wants it and you can help fund it, then we'll make it," and it was like that. Well, it probably also, I mean, really, come on. As soon as it was announced, Snoop Dogg's video channel had all of them getting interviewed and asking silly questions. And so you knew that thing was going to be a success as soon as it started. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So, but for the indies, the ones that Ultra Confusion loves to interact with, see, that's the thing. What is the definition of indie now?
It's such a nebulous because you even have big publishers who are utilizing Kickstarter.
There's all these different levels now of I guess indie status. You have, because a lot of these seasoned veterans are now going out on their own and doing a crowdfunding thing.
So are they considered independent because they're not a part of a big conglomerate? I think a big part of it, to be honest, is the marketing budget. I think it's a big part of it. Did they have the money to get? Because I know it's part of Ultra Confusion's missions to get the name of these indie games out there who you might not otherwise hear of. And the chief reason, you've probably never heard of the game, is that there's no advertising budget. Or if it is, it's so minuscule that they can't do much.
But the thing is, if you have that veteran talent, if you got that name, you can still have next to nothing for marketing.
Oh, absolutely.
But the name itself is the market.
Well, yes, look at the Castlevania game.
Right, absolutely.
I mean, that's the same thing. Yeah, I agree. But then it's still, they don't have an advertising budget, but with that, I would still, in a way, consider that an independent studio.
Right.
Or development because they're not a part of, or maybe it's also, maybe you also have to consider maybe the level of oversight. Obviously, company under EA, they probably have to answer to the man upstairs.
Right.
Whereas, doing your Castlevania Part 2, they can do whatever the hell they want.
Right.
They can go off the rails.
Right.
So I think that's part of it is, what is the size? It's just, there's no distinct answer for it. It's definitely a very type of answer.
Right. I mean, yeah, the definition of indie has definitely gone all over the place. And maybe it was all over the place to begin with. It's just now everyone's trying to, focus that definition, and it does not fit one category of people.
Excuse me.
Gesundheit.
But what I see a lot, I think, from the indie bundle games, at least those games I played, is I think when I see those indie games, I think old school.
Okay.
It's like they're trying to do like a throwback to back in the day, man, when gaming was pure. Which
well,
I don't
technically,
think,
that last the Bloodstained one is a throwback.
which I don't think is a definition of an indie game, but I think
Right.
it's a very common trait among the indie titles is kind of the old school gameplay, which you don't see with AAA titles. AAA is all at the bleeding edge, newest badasses graphics and crazy new gameplay experience.
Right.
Whereas indie games, you're going to see maybe the 8 to 16-bit graphics, hopefully with quality gameplay. So I think that's a big part that, maybe a better way, it's like a Venn diagram. You got a little bit here and here, and there's all the overlap. You get, 8-bit graphics plus one person developing it, plus new advertising budget, QED, you're now indie. So, because they all fit into that Venn diagram. So it's just a lot of different elements, but there's definitely no one definition. It's kind of like what makes a AAA title.
You have a publisher, but that could, if any. I think for a AAA title, I think it's got to be budget. I think it's the amount of budget you've got to work with.
$1 billion.
Probably not. Hello, Mr. Humphreys.
Hey, Mr. Herfdurf.
Herfdurf.
Well, here, her.
Him.
Well, it says her right there.
He says, I her. I are here.
I see, I, her.
Oh, Lord.
Okay. But what do you think, Mr. Humphreys? What makes a independent... So, in case you just joined, we're talking about kind of what makes an actual independent studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's an indie game. What makes it an indie game? I don't know. It's a whole hodgepodge of things, which I think is an interesting question. But in the end of the day, does it really matter what makes an independent game independent? It's just another label. It's just... I look at it as Ultimate Future looks at games that don't get the limelight that they wouldn't otherwise get. It gives us a chance to shine it on them.
Mr. Humphreys from the audience says he would say a budget over $1 million makes something AAA. That's a key factor. Okay, are we
Money's
saying?
important.
But Kickstarter has really shaped that up. So are we saying now that Bloodstained is almost a $2 million that Bloodstained should be considered a AAA title? A combination of team size and budget. That's true. Yeah, I would. Yeah. I think it would have to be. I think it would have to be a combination of several factors. Now, because budget alone, you're looking at like Double Fine did 3.5. Bloodstained is well on its way to
Star Citizen, 75 million.
Star Citizen. Would you consider Xaviant indie or AAA? Okay.
Could we give it like a single A?
I think Xaviant was... I would want to say indie simply because they were not... Okay, so here's another thing. If you're not established, if it's your first game, but you have a AAA budget, and you have like 30, 40 people working on the game, does that automatically make it a AAA title? Or because you're not... you haven't been proven, do you not get... does that title, AAA, elude your first entry into... the consumer's market?
Here's another definition you could see. Is say, hypothetically speaking, you still had PC games on the shelf at stores.
Okay.
If you make it onto the shelf at Best Buy, you're a AAA title.
Okay.
So, obviously that definition is kind of moot nowadays because, online content. But at least, 10 years ago, I think that would be a relevant definition.
Well, okay, so...
But I think we could still kind of extrapolate today, nowadays, to kind of be like, okay, this title will probably make it on the shelf at Best Buy. This title probably would not.
Kingdoms of Amalur. Is that a AAA title?
That seemed like a AAA to me from what I saw.
Okay, so... Now we're getting into names, though. Because of the names that were working on it. Because the guy that was behind the entire writing is... oh my God, what the hell is his name?
Who's a real author?
Yeah, R.A.
Salvatore.
Yeah. Ooh, high res.
They're getting there to AAA. They're getting there.
Yeah, the thing is...
Okay, I think do you consider Riot Games a AAA studio? Which I would say yes.
How about Riot?
I think Riot is absolutely a AAA studio nowadays,
Mm-hmm.
which I think High Res, that's kind of probably the third place in not MMOs. MOBAs, thank you. Third place in MOBAs.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's, and when you also start having, your own $1 million tournament in town, that kind of gives you a little bit of credence. So I think it's on its way. But if you also only have one title that anybody gives a shit about, does that matter?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Riot Games does League of Legends. That's it. That's
yeah.
all they do. That's their only thing in life is League of Legends. High Res is now only
Smite.
Thank you. Wow, I'm having brain farts everywhere. It's just Smite.
Okay, well, okay.
The other games don't count.
Right now they're riding the Smite wave, and apparently they just opened up like an esports studio. I'm not exactly sure what the hell that means. If they're gonna have if they're gonna host events there, or if there's some kind of I don't know. But
it means so we can still make our claim to fame in the esports arena.
Apparently.
We still have a chance.
Well,
I gotta work on my wrist a little.
God, your carpal tunnel's gonna kill us, man. No, but okay, so yeah, I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into it. That was the game I was talking about. Mighty Number 9. That's the guy behind Mega Man. Who, no, I wouldn't think that it's a AAA title. But he does have the star power. It's the same thing like Bloodstain. Bloodstain, it has the big name behind it, or any of the Double Fine games. Would you consider those AAA titles? Be it Broken Age or Massive Chalice? Massive Chalice? Yeah, Chalice.
I have a Massive Chalice.
No, you don't. It's very small. I mean, okay. So, but how about we take it a step further? Is it possible for and a huge budget? Is it possible that a AAA studio could make non-AAA games, or vice versa?
Well, do you consider Hearthstone a AAA game?
Ooh.
I mean, it's polished, but frankly, I consider it a pale comparison to Magic, for instance. I mean, it's a shadow of Magic the Gathering, for instance, which granted makes shitty PC games for card collecting, but still, it's kind of, so in terms of AAA, it's a lesser extent of something that's already established.
Mm-hmm.
So Hearthstone just seems like Blizzard almost like, what can we do to make money without putting a whole lot of effort into it? Let's make Hearthstone.
Hearthstone is AAA. Mr. Humphrey says it's
AAA. Yeah, I feel like Blizzard is obviously AAA. I don't feel like Hearthstone to me is a AAA title. I feel like any indie developer could have made frickin' Hearthstone, just obviously without the same characters. Because
there is a game that's kind of like it, and that one, of course, is Cards and Castles. I mean, there's Blizzard. That's the.
We're asking if Blizzard, a AAA studio, can make an indie-like game.
To be honest, I mean, what if some people base the AAA status off of how solid a game it is?
I think that's a pretty terrible barometer.
I know it's a terrible barometer, but some people do it. I mean, hell, you got freaking publishers that are still basing their decision on if the game gets a sequel or not strictly off of Metacritic ratings, which everyone knows is broken as shit. But they still do it because it's a known metric that's easy for them to find. They don't have to go search.
You can put it into a spreadsheet.
Yes.
Using curl.
Sure.
You know what curl is?
Probably, but I blanked out.
Okay, that's all right.
Right. Okay. So yeah.
I agree. I mean, yes, Hearthstone really is a AAA title.
Technically, yes.
It absolutely is. It just doesn't. It feels.
In your mind, does it?
If I didn't know it was made by Blizzard,
I would not think it was
a If I just gave it to me, sans the Blizzard thing,
right,
and also obviously having the characters,
right. If it was just like a regular
generic gnome and generic mage,
fighter and rogue, and
I would not feel like it's a AAA title.
There you go. And so the name alone made it a AAA title.
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I mean, it seems kind of silly though that there's just like dichotomy. It's AAA or indie. Like maybe once upon a time that was relevant, but now there's such a in between of the two ends of the spectrum where it's maybe we need more labels for our video games because apparently we would like to put things in square little boxes.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's literally how Steam sorts things. It's people like to have it in their little boxes.
Yeah.
They want to find the adventure games, the action games, the indie games, the MMOs, or the free-to-play.
So how does Steam categorize things as indie games?
Indie. It's got an indie tag on it.
No, I mean, how does a game get an indie tag through Steam?
That's a good question. I think that the creators could put the tags in there. But
Equal opportunity right here, Mr. Humphreys.
I just say everyone is a game developer. Technically, yes, absolutely. Anyone who can come up with an idea, which maybe some people can't come up with ideas. So maybe not everyone, but close to it.
Steam.
Right. Steam is it is community based, and it's a decision. But I mean, yeah.
I have a random question for our audience.
Yes.
Mr. Humphreys, do you like the Proto-Men?
Does he know who the Proto-Men are?
Does he know who the Proto-Men are?
Proto-Man.
Because if not, you should learn in the next 2 weeks. I'm just saying. I'm just letting people know things.
Proto-Man. Da-da-da.
That's who. That's the place to check out.
Okay, so MomoCon. It's happening in what, like 2 weeks now?
Oh, 2 weeks!
I know.
Let's prepare myself.
Craziness! Proto-Man, it's a band. You should check it out. It's a rock opera. Yeah.
It's pretty epic.
Based off of
Mega Man.
Proto-Man and Mega Man.
And they're playing at MomoCon on Saturday night at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's why
we'll be there. So I've noticed something as of late when it comes to conventions. A lot of the places that you host conventions in are now requiring anyone who has a fan table, vendor table, whatever, to pay for power while they're there.
Interesting.
Now it gets really complicated. It's like, okay, here's the voltage, but some people then tack on like, well, here's a drop down. Yes. Speaking of rock operas, if you're looking for a rock opera-esque game, definitely check out Karma Flow. Act 2 has just come out. Zealeus is on his adventure.
I'm playing Karma Flow Act 1. The thing is, like, I have no context in which to describe the gameplay of the game. I mean, you're literally this thing. I don't know how the hell to describe this thing. And you go forward, and you have to hit light bulb things as best I can describe them to get bulbs around your character, and then it allows you to go do other stuff. It's an experience of a game to basically get the rock opera feel. It's the best I can. I just don't know how to describe the game. It makes you feel like a terrible person. It's fun and I'm enjoying it, chiefly because I like that kind of music a lot. I mean, some of the lead bands like Epica and Dragon Force. Those are bands I listen to a lot.
Puzzle platformer.
Okay, puzzle platformer, I can buy that. But it's the kind of game where, like, the puzzle aspect, it's like a backdrop. It was like a way, like, it's almost like, I guess like Epica and Dragon Force, like, dude, how can we get our music in a game? I know! Let's build a game and you have to go do stuff to allow the female singer from Epica to sing. That's how it feels like. Because the puzzle part is definitely not the central. It's an aspect of the game, but it doesn't feel like it's a true puzzle platformer because that's not the central thing that it's trying to do, I guess. It's a fun game. I'm enjoying it. I'm just trying to figure out how to actually describe it in words that make sense, which I'm not doing a very good job of.
So yes, check out Karma Flow. It's available on Steam, I believe.
Yeah, that's how I have it through Steam.
All right, hold on a second. Let me. Where's my? I will tell you how much it is. Give me 1 second. Or of course, Steam could decide to update. Yeah.
So as to that, what were you saying about MomoCon?
Okay, so MomoCon is one of the mini conventions that unfortunately has the site of the convention charges an additional fee for anyone who wants to use electricity in there.
Okay.
But the thing is, they get like really fucking technical. You do need a controller to play Karma Flow.
I was using my keyboard and mouse.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I do have a controller. I didn't even think it was like a game.
Way to go, Zealeus. Way to go.
I failed. That's probably why I don't know how to describe it as I was playing it incorrectly.
Shit, what was I going to say? Here, I'll look it up real quick. Karma Flow.
Galactic Civilizations 3. Good gosh, that's been in my inbox for like...
1999.
There you go.
Is that just the?
1 and 1.
Is that 1 and 2? Yep, 1 and 2 is $19.99.
Sweet.
So definitely check it out.
Yeah, I could believe that playing. Yeah.
So yeah, MomoCon and a lot of conventions. The previous MomoCons, when it was in the Marriott, where our fan table was in the Marriott, was that you had to pay for electric use. But like some of these places are like weird. They're like, okay, here's a thing for the amount of money, or sorry, the amount of electricity you use. Plus, you're going to need the drop. Plus, you're going to need the box that actually has the outlet thing. So it's like it gets weird. I think Georgia World Congress Center. I think we're looking at $160
for electricity.
Huh?
For electricity?
Yeah. And of course the Karma Flow. And to go back to Karma Flow, you get the soundtrack. Well, Zealeus already stated it. I mean, that's Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
But anyways, we'll be at MomoCon. We'll have a table there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I know that MomoCon opens up on Thursday, and technically we have a table there on Thursday. But unfortunately, no one is off for the Alter Confusion team, so that's not going to happen. I will be on a panel on Thursday, but I will literally be there for the panel and then have to go back to work.
Gotcha.
Which means I'll have a change of clothes in the car.
Nice.
Yes.
So, we're looking forward to MomoCon. We got our 2 talks. We got Saturday at 8 o'clock.
Yep.
The destruction of the game industry as we know it, where we talk about, how the game industry is dying. Not really. And then
it's evolving.
Or evolution.
Devolving, depending on where you stand.
And then Saturday at 11 o'clock. Sunday at 11, we talk about so you made your independent game and you think you're finished.
Mm-hmm.
Joke's on you, yo.
All right, so but I do want to clarify something about that second panel. So you finish making your indie game, you think you're done. The context could be
applied to anything.
Applied to any indie project. It's just that, we're a game review studio. So that's where our bread and butter is. But if you got like an indie project of like art or whatever, make sure you are there on time this time. Okay, seriously.
We were on time to both.
No. He's talking about. So there was a panel at Siege last year that I was on, and I literally was sprinting through the parking lot in my socks. I was 2 minutes late. I was 2 freaking minutes late, okay? My boss didn't let me off as quickly as possible, okay? I mean, that's really what it boiled down to. So, okay, really,
The man keeping you down.
I will be, okay, so, the 2 of the 3 panels were thoroughly entrenched at MomoCon before the panel happened, so we'll be there. The one that will be interesting for me is the one I have on Thursday, which happens at 2, and that,
What's
of course, is writing in video games.
So...
Oh, no. That was our third man. He's talking about...
Jesse?
Yeah. Jesse was supposed to show up to the MomoCon panel last year. And then at the last minute, Jesse had to ditch. So it's just going to be me. And this is really how Blaine and I got to kind of really hang out in front of a crowd and talk about the destruction of the game industry as we know it, because he was there as a media capacity, and little did he know he was going to actually have to help give a panel.
Nice.
Yeah, so.
Did he talk more than I did?
No, I was about to say.
All right. But it should be fun. So is Blaine going to be at MomoCon too?
He should be.
You
should be. If you're not.
And if all goes well, we may have a third panel. So.
The rumor is that we'll have 3 Alter Fusion individuals present for the first time ever at a convention.
It could be a rare sighting of all 3 of us.
Yes, it was a lot of fun, Blaine. I fully agree. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And if you do want to see that lecture of or panel from MomoCon, you of course can go to our YouTube channel, Altered Confusion. We have many of our videos, almost all of our talks that have been given by the Georgia Game Developer Association, as well as the IGDA Atlanta chapter, a bunch of playthroughs and quick looks, and then of course our Something Slightly Different,
of course,
which the true fan of something slightly different is, of course, Mr. Humphreys.
He's a good man.
He loves the fact that I get a little bit overly animated during something slightly different.
Well, Charlie is what we go for. Gives a little something something.
I could flare my arms around during this, but I'd be afraid that I would knock Zealeus out.
It's probably happened before. I don't remember that happening. It's all right. I'm over it, man.
Yeah. But if you're in or near the Atlanta area, definitely come to MomoCon. It's happening at the end of the month. It's going to be the 28th through the 31st. 28th, 29th, yeah, 31st.
Should be.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be a lot of awesome stuff going on there. I know that another big name panelist unfortunately had a last-minute conflict, and they won't be there, which, of course, all I'm going to say is Mountain Dew. Okay, yes, my last something. Goddamn Mountain Dew.
Did you have too much Mountain Dew? Yeah.
No, I started pouring Mountain Dew during my something slightly different.
So it's really funny I actually say that. So Kim actually watched our panel from Andocon.
Mm-hmm.
At the freaking beginning of the panel, Charlie did his Mountain Dew thing. And Kim watched was like, Charlie's the most stereotypical nerd alive. Because what does he have to do with this panel? Do the Mountain Dew thing. Like, this is straight out of, like, a bad sitcom about nerds.
I love me some Mountain Dew. I just wish that I was sponsored by it.
I guess it's better that you're chugging down the Mountain Dew than, like, the Beast or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah. One's also much more affordable.
It's delicious. And, of course, tonight I am drinking KickStarter by Mountain Dew.
I don't like those.
Dun, dun, dun. Mountain Dew.
I'd rather just drink beer. I just don't like.
I have no interest in beer today.
I've already had one. I just don't like those type of things.
Yeah, but I have no interest in beer today.
I had to. I was at the local place with a couple of buddies from work before I came here.
So we have a lot of amazingly interesting games that we're going to be reviewing. Or sorry, let me step back. That I will be reviewing. And that, of course, is... Oh, my gosh. I blanked out on the two. Hold on one sec. I'm going to... Oh, where the fuck did the icons go?
Did you lose your icons?
Yeah, I lost my icons. Oh, Guns, Gore, and Cannoli, which I'm probably going to need a second individual for that one, because a lot of it's co-op. And then there's another game called Alexis Crow, which, I'm going to be totally honest with you, was really freaking short. But I'm interested in seeing if there's more to it. And then I just got an email stating that we have another game.
There's always another game.
Yes. Let me check.
What could it be?
What could it be? It is called... Dun, 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 dun. No, it's not called dun, 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 dun. I promise you. Oh my gosh. Valdez Story, Abyssal City.
Interesting name.
It's like an RPG type game. So.
What is not like an RPG nowadays?
True. I mean,
I think it's like RPG elements.
Yeah. Man, that's like a hot term for like any game. Even the sports games have RPG like elements.
Well, it's kind of the defining a game. Like, trying to kind of describe karma flows. It doesn't fit in very well to any one category.
Right.
And, kind of like talking, AAA titles versus indie developers. It's kind of like these, we try to put a category to our games and then trying to decide, okay, where does this fit in? And it's not a bad thing. It's probably a good thing that there's this, overflow.
Right.
Although, having RPG elements in everything seems to be a bit of overkill sometimes.
I agree.
It's like, do we really need to level up this stat in this game? Really? Does it really add anything to the overall gameplay?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just...
Speaking of leveling up, okay, so there is a game. It's on Android. I don't know if it's on any other device. I'm just going to be totally honest with you because I accidentally found it one day, and I play the game. I played a lot of it early on, and now that I've like leveled up so much, I just don't play it anymore, and that's Tap Titans. It's a game in which literally you're trying to tap the screen as fast as you can, and that causes more damage. And you basically collect money, and that money can be put towards leveling up your character, unlocking non-player characters that help you defeat monsters. But it like gets freaking insane. So it starts off with like you're gaining like thousands of gold, and then it's millions, and then it's trillions, and there's billions, and there's trillions, and then it goes to like double A level and double B level and double C, and I'm like, what the? The amount of money needed escalates so quickly in that game that it's just like, I understand what they're trying to do is they're trying to lengthen the gameplay, because what happens is you exit the game and the NPCs will keep fighting and they'll keep racking up gold. Then when you jump back into the game, you get that gold and it'll allow you to level up and get further in the game. But I like that concept, but I want to be able to just continuously, pound through the game. I hate being limited. That is not, in my mind, that's not good game design, to limit the user.
You mean like you have like an energy or term cap or something?
Sort of like that, but what happens is you get so far in the game that you cannot. So every single area has a boss or a mini boss, and if you can't get by them, then basically what you do is you just keep you go through the first 10. Then you face the mini boss or boss. If you can't defeat it, then it's just you keep fighting monsters till you gain enough money so that you can level up your character.
Yeah.
But the problem is that you're not going to be able to collect money fast enough. It's going to be slow. So your best bet is just to leave the game alone, and it will collect money for you.
Interesting.
Which
But you can also buy game. But you can also buy money, I'm assuming.
No.
Oh.
I don't think so.
Interesting.
Let me see. Let me jump in and tap Titan real quick. Or maybe I don't know. I don't think you can.
Where you can't buy money?
You can't buy money. You can buy these these diamonds to unlock special things. Free to play to win, for the win.
Amen to that, brother. See, he knows how it is. He's a smart man. See, look at all that 4.1. You have no friends.
I have 4.1 CC, whatever the hell that means. Okay, so
that's a lot of money, man.
So okay, yeah, so you buy diamonds that you could then use towards gold and other stuff. So yeah, technically, yeah, you can pay to win. But anyways.
Yeah, I mean it's the reality of mobile gaming, man.
Yeah.
Limitations.
Oh God, yes. But I mean that's it could just be a product of the fact that it is a free to play game, and so that's their way of
They gotta have a monetary income from somewhere in the game.
True.
You couldn't just buy the game for $4 and get everything unlocked. That'd be way too easy.
Gasp. No.
That'd be crazy talk.
I mean, Apple only made an entire section that said pay for once and play.
This is true. And what Apple does is always right, too.
Right.
They're the smart ones.
Right.
Indeed. See, I knew you'd agree with my evaluations. No, Charlie just not. He was just being sarcastic, apparently. What's up with that?
So, anyways, is there any other topics you want to bring up? Any other thoughts?
I think my brain is fried.
All right. Mr. Humphreys, any thoughts, comments, concerns, or criticisms that you want to throw at us? Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, 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 blah.
I was editing our video from last week, and I was making those funny noises, and I was having a giggle while I was doing it.
It sounds like you need help, you.
Thank you.
It's all right.
Anyways, okay, well, we'll just wrap it up. You're coming next Thursday for the Thursday Night Hangout.
Oh yeah, I'll be here for next. I actually check.
Okay.
Because 8th grade graduation might be that night. And I have to go to that one.
Mr. Humphrey, there's just not enough time to describe how awesome you are. We'll have to do an entire segment on it, okay? So not tonight.
Barring Humphrey's awesomeness or 8th grade graduation next Thursday, I will be here.
Okay. I of course, will be here. We will try, We will try to do something at MomoCon. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to try to do something special at MomoCon. We're trying to still work out some of the details for.
We should have like an Alter Confusion and Friends cast, where you get like people together, like Blaine, and make sure Jesse's there and we're there, and do like, dude, this is gonna be awesome.
Blaine's down for this.
Rock on.
So all right, let's close it up then. So all of you lovely individuals in the audience, and of course those who are watching this recorded session, thank you for tuning into the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. For myself, Charlie, and Zealeus, it's been a pleasure to give you the crazy stuff coming out of our brains, and of course the interesting and bizarre news that might be coming out of the video game world. Hopefully you continue to hit us up on Facebook, Twitter. Of course, that's Ultra Confusio without the N. Our YouTube channel for all the latest and greatest playthroughs, and of course alteredconfusion.com. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or criticisms for us, you can hit us up on any of those different outlets.
You left out thoughts.
Did I?
Yeah, that's always like the first thing you say. Thoughts. You've left that out. Just saying.
Thoughts, questions, concerns, whatever. Anyways, if you have words that you want to give to us, hit us up in any of those channels. Of course, you can always go to alteredconfusion.com and hit the Contact Us page. Fill out the form. It goes straight to me. I will respond.
He will respond.
So anyways, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
Remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother.